In the Tower of London, large as life, the ghost of Ann Boleyn walks, they declare. Poor Ann Boleyn was once King Henry's wife, until he made the headsman bob her hair. Ah, yes, he did her wrong long years ago, and she comes up at night to tell him so. With her head tucked underneath her arms, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm, at the midnight hour, she comes to haunt King Henry. She means giving him what for. Gad Zooks, she's going to tell him off for having split her gore, and just in case the headsman wants to give her an encore, she has her head tucked underneath her arm. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With the head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour, along the draughty corridors for miles and miles she goes. She often catches cold, poor thing. It's cold there when it blows, and it's awfully awkward for the Queen to have to blow her nose with her head tucked underneath her arm. Sometimes King Henry gives a spread for all his pals and girls, a ghostly crew. The headsman carves the joint and cuts the bread, then in comes Ann Boleyn to queer the do. She holds her head up with a wild war whoop, and Henry cries, "Don't drop it in the soup!" With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. The sentries think that it's a football that she carries in, and when they've had a few they shout, "Is Arsenal going to win?" They think it's Alec James instead of poor old Ann Boleyn, with her head tucked underneath her arm. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. One night she caught King Henry, he was in the canteen bar. She said, "Are you Jane Seymour, Ann Boleyn, or Catherine Parr? For how the sweet and fairy Anne do I know who you are, with your head tucked underneath your arm?"